Hello, welcome to another Gundam Battle Operation 2 video. That is the new suit and the final suit of 2022, and might be my final video of 2022 as well. The Phenex NT, and a lot of people were wondering on whether, it's because the Unicorn got nerfed a second time, if this suit was going to dethrone it. And we're about to figure that out. And while we're figuring that out, I have two matches here for you. This first match is going to be on, almost at Supply Depot. The second one's going to be Supply Depot. This one's going to be Impact Site. And both of these matches are going to be my first time playing the Phenex on those maps. And we'll see how we can do. And for whatever reason, Bandai or BB Studios or whoever, they don't know the definition of random. I've been playing random rating, and I've gotten the same two maps. Actually, I think there was one trenches in there. Yeah, the same two maps. I kind of wanted to play military base, but unfortunately, I just haven't gotten a chance to, which is sad. But anyway, let's go ahead and get right to the stats of the suit. This suit is a 4-star general, which is surprising because a lot of people, even me, were like, "Hey, this is going to be a support, right?" Psych. It's a 4-star general. And you do have 21,000 health with 30 ballistic resistance and 32 beam resistance. You have 16 melee resistance with 30 range strength, 40 melee strength, and 130 movement speed with 220 boost speed. You have 75 thruster gauge and 69 turning speed. Nice. And when you do activate NTD mode, I'm going to go ahead and spoil that right away. Your range strength actually goes up to 55. Your melee strength goes down to 15. And your your regular movement speed goes up to 135, and your boost speed goes up to 230. And technically, you can go up more depending on the skill you're using, but or if you're using it. And you do get 84 turning speed. So yeah, NTD mode, you do get some buffs and one thing that does go down your melee strength. And for slots, you have 16 close, 16 mid, and 21 long range slots. And yeah, obviously looking at this, the melee really sticks out here. You have 16 melee resistance. Not a lot at 700. Yeah, there's a lot of suits. If they touch you, they're gonna give you the hand of God. But this can be fixed, though. I do have two different builds I've been using with this. The first build, I kind of did a typical one where I was like, okay, you know what, a lot of range strength, let's almost said boofed. Let's buff the... let's boof the range strength. So that's what we did. And I did give some typical stuff like beam resistance. I even did some melee strength in there as well. And the second build I did is actually make it more tanky. I gave myself a lot more beam resistance and a lot more melee resistance, and that will help you stay in the fight a little bit longer, right? Although obviously this will that might take a little bit off of other stuff, like maybe you want even more range strength out of it or something else, right? Or more thruster gauge. So yeah, keep that in mind. Keep that 16 melee resistance in mind when using the suit. However, you do have some pretty good melee strength, though. 40 melee strength, and you do have some other good stuff on this suit we'll talk about. But yeah, so and of course you can do some other stuff, like I always mention thruster gauge build. You can do a thruster gauge build. This thing does have skills that really help in thruster gauge, and you can also do some side combo stuff that will help you with your funnels and all that good stuff. I know it's called the armor DE, but I'm just gonna call it funnels because that's kind of how they act in this. Actually, there's one move that acts like the Psycho Plates on the Moon Gundam, but yeah, we'll get to it. Alright, now we're on to the weapons. Starting off the primary weapons, you have the Beam Magnum, which returns from the Unicorn. That is 3,600 damage with 5 rounds and 350 range, and of course you do have to focus to use it. You do have to charge it. However, they did nerf the Beam Magnum as part of their nerf to the Unicorn overall. Now, the Beam Magnum now has a lower blast radius, so that way you can't get hard carried by nearly hitting somebody and still hitting them for 3,000 damage. And they did reduce the leg damage it can do as well. So keep that in mind when using the Beam Magnum. Other than that, it's still the same old, really fast travel speed, hits like a truck, especially more. Actually, you know what? It goes from hitting like a truck to hitting like a fucking freight train when you activate in TD mode. So, so keep that in mind when using the beam magnum. And of course, always remember it is a focus only weapon. Even if it's a short focus, like 0.8, right? It's still focus only. Be careful in close range. Alright, next primary weapon is your melee weapon, which is the Phenex Arm Beam Saber, which is 2,800 damage, and I believe this shares the same moveset as the other typical unicorns that aren't transformed. And yeah, it does do a lot of damage. This thing does have 40 melee strength, so it does do a lot to people, especially raids and, you know, low melee resistance supports. I believe this match had a game malk in it. I did almost 4,000 damage to it on one downswing, so just again, be careful because you only have 16 melee resistance if you're going with that kind of build, right? So keep that in mind. Alright, and that's it for the primary weapons. Now we're on to the secondary weapons. Starting off, you have the Head Vulcan Mark III, which is 150 damage, 40 rounds, and 200 range. And yeah, they're the same as the recent Vulcans we've been getting, where they do a lot of damage, they have a good amount of rounds, and they have some decent stun accumulation. I believe it takes almost half the clip to get a stun. So that's pretty nice in terms of Vulcans. But of course, you know, if you're in a match, you might have to actually use stun accumulation instead of just the Vulcans by itself, which thankfully, combining it with your other weapons, you can almost get an instant stun with this. It's really crazy. I believe, there was a match I really wanted to record, but I accidentally fumbled it and screenshotted it instead. And I felt so bad because it was actually a really good demonstration of boosting your Vulcans and using your funnels. It was pretty gross. But yeah, you can do that. You know, you combine your Vulcans with your other stun accumulation weapons and get a better stun that way. And of course, you can use it for typical funnel things like targeting enemy pilots that are trying to bomb your base or around your point, some point that's being taken, right? Or you can finish off low health enemies because it does have a lot of damage on it. 150 damage. That's ballistic too. Alright, next weapon is the Mega Cannon, which is 1,200 damage with a 50% heat rate and 450 range. And if you guys ever played the Gundam Mark III, it's basically the same thing here, where you're firing with shoulder cannons. You have to stand still to fire it, but you do come out of it really fast, where you'll notice whenever I'm shooting the shoulder cannons, yeah, it's pretty fast to just go back to walking after shooting it. It does take 2 hits to stun. It does not stun normally, so just keep in mind the stun accumulation on that. So you can probably approach somebody or try to use your Vulcans and then get a stun with that with the shoulder cannon. You can try and do that. I haven't done that yet. I do the more reliable thing, which is the next weapon, the Armed Armor DE Launch, which is 1,000 damage per hit with 1 round and 300 range. And if you guys don't know, the little tail thingies, the funnels, the shields on the back of your suit, they come off. They're kind of like the Moon Gundam psychoplates initially, where they'll go in a straight line towards somebody. If they hit a wall, they will actually stop and come back to you. However, they're both separate entities, so if one goes to a wall, it comes back, and if the other doesn't, it'll keep going. By the way, top assist score, and we'll see what our placement was. First match on Impact Site with this suit, and hey, second place, 4 and 3, not too good there, but hey, still got some good individual score and really good pursuit assist. Alright, now to the Supply Depot match, and back to the Armed Armor here. But yeah, they are separate entities, so if one gets through, then hey, that one will still attempt to attack somebody, and they will swarm somebody, and I believe they will follow somebody as well. I think there's proof in this match. I can't remember exactly the timestamp on it, but I do target somebody and he goes around a corner and the funnels do chase him. However, that's when I was in Awakened mode, so I'm not sure if this has a different property when in normal mode. I'm not sure if it's just like an AoE kind of thing where it'll target somebody, it'll go around them, if they move out of the way, it'll stay in that general area, right? But it seems like to me that they do follow people. You just have to make sure that you're not doing it behind a wall, because they're just going to hit the wall and just be right back on you, right? Next weapon here. Actually, no, that's it for your regular weapons. I should also mention of course, for the Armed Armor DE, is that you can use them while boosting. Similar to the new Gundam using its finals while boosting, you can use that here. And that's why I say that with the Vulcans is really good. It's almost a instant stun. That's how good it is, if you guys see my testing for that. Yeah, boosting forward, using the funnels, and then using your Vulcans for a quick stun, and you can just wail on them with melee. It's pretty gross sometimes. Now we're on to the NTD weapons. So when you activate NTD mode, you will get some changes to your weapons. First of all, you get the Phenex back beam saber ×2 that replaces your Phenex arm beam saber, and that is 3,000 damage. And the downswing for this, actually the neutral swing I should mention first, is deceptively short. I believe it shares the same moveset with the O's double beam saber neutral swing. However, the downswing, I believe, is the E-Free Customs downswing, where it does that double diagonal slash forward. It actually slides forward and hits somebody for a good amount of damage, right? So yeah, that's a pretty nice melee weapon to have first. Next weapon here is the Mega Cannon Transformed, which is 1,500 damage with 80% heat rate and 450 range, and that's what happens to your Mega Cannon normally when it goes in NTD mode. Instead of taking 2 hits to stun, it will now take 1 hit to stun from either beam. And however, the downside is that I should also mention it does more damage, but the downside is that it has 80% more heat rate instead of 50% more heat rate. So keep that in mind when using it. But yeah, it's really good for continuing a stun lock after the beam magnum, and you know, all that good stuff, right? Alright, now we're on to the armed armor, now it's been transformed, and not much really changes on it. The only thing that changes is that it gets 50 more range. It goes from 300 range to 350 range. Still does the same damage, and it still has 1 round on it. I don't remember if it lasts any longer, and again, as I mentioned, at some point in this match, it does follow somebody around the corner, and I'm trying to figure out if that's something the normal version of the armed armor can do. But yeah, and of course, just like with the regular version, you can boost, as you see here, actually in this match, you can boost forward and target somebody at the same time using the lock on and send out your funnels while boosting. Alright, and you do get a new option with your armed armor as well. This next weapon, the next weapon is the Armed Armor DE Defense, which is 0 damage, 100% heat rate, and 0 range. And this is essentially just the Psycho Plate defense mode on the Moon Gundam. It will, the plates will surround the plates. See, I'm even calling it plates because it's like the Moon Gundams. The funnels, the shields, the armed armor, they will surround you, and they will absorb both melee and range attacks, which is really nice. That means you can play super aggressively or super defensively, or, you know, I guess it's more easy to say that you can get in the thick of it, or you can retreat more easily, right? Super defensively. Yeah, I don't know, that probably didn't make any sense, but yeah. And you might see an example of this in one of these 2 matches. I know I've definitely used this to get kind of crazy getting in close, because of course if it blocks melee, yeah, all you have to do is just time your melee attack to somebody else's, and it doesn't matter if they have a higher melee priority, as long as you're meleeing them when they're not meleeing you. Yeah, you're gonna do just fine. Oh, I think actually right here they try to stop me. Yeah, it blocks. Nice. I blocked the beam magnum. Cool. And unfortunately, I'm gonna die here in a second. But yeah. I should also mention, if this works, I believe since it works almost exactly like the Moon Gundam's Psycho Plates, I believe depending on how fast you fire at the Phenex or hit the Phenex, I believe the shield will stay up because of that. I should say, it'll stay up in the guard position, right? Let's say if you're shooting a machine gun at it, and you just keep shooting it, and not even stopping, right? Then it'll just keep shielding. It'll keep shielding. You have to put some periods in there. You have to stop, you know? what I like to do against Moon Gundams and this suit is shoot some Vulcan rounds, so that way the shield will block the hits, but it doesn't stay up in case I get close for melee attacks, right? So that way you can wear down the energy that this thing has, or the heat rate, and that way it will go down by the time you want to follow up with something else. So keep that in mind against the Phenex. Alright, and finally, the next weapon you get is the Phenex Arm Beam Tonfa, which is 3,500 damage. And yeah, it does have a different moveset from the regular Tonfa that the Unicorn has in its NTD mode. And yeah, the downswing... Actually, no, I should go with the neutral swing first. Again, the neutral swing is deceptively large compared to the double beam saber's deceptively short melee range. If you guys see my testing video for this, yeah, the Tonfa beam saber, it looks like it's not going to hit, but no, it does hit. It's not like super absurd range, but it's definitely not something you expect. And the downswing is actually another sliding downswing, and yeah, it can definitely catch people off guard. I'll say that. It can definitely catch people off guard. You slide forward by a lot. I've accidentally and unfortunately have downswung my own teammates because I'm not expecting to go as far as I do. You probably noticed throughout these two matches just what it looks like. Alright, that's it for the weapons. Now we're on to the skills, and we're also on the last minute of this match, so I have to be careful how I separate these things here. You do have Shock Absorber level 3, you have a Double Dodge Roll, or I should say Evasion level 2, you have Blast Stabilizer, so mobile suit explosions do not affect you. You have Flight Control level 2, so that way you can do some stuff while you're in the air, like boost or jump. You do have Balancers, so you can run up and melee somebody. You do have Melee Combo Controller, so that's 2 melee swings. You do have Ambac level 2. You have Maneuver Armor, so you can tank a instant stun while you're boosting. You have Force Injectors level 2, so that way you can boost back and forth, and it'll take less heat rate off of your thruster gauge. And before we continue on, timeout, and let's see how we did the second match. Good works all around, and yeah, nice pose by the way on the Phenex. And hey, didn't beat my rival on the board, but hopefully I did well. And hey, third place, 4-2. Still did some decent individual score. And hey, got some decent damage out of that as well. So yeah, I'm fine with that third place. You don't have to be the best, right? Just got to be good enough. But yeah, back to the skills. Maneuver Armor, it does tank a instant stun. However, stun accumulations still work on you. Force Injectors, we mentioned that. Actually, I did mention Maneuver Armor before. Whoops. You have Radar, you have Leg Buffers, you have Psychomu Weapon Buffer level 4. Of course, that's where your armed armor DEs are. And that will net you, if you get hit there, you'll take 35% less damage. So your back is a lot more safer than your front. You do have the PN counter program, and basically this is on every 4-star unit. When you're at a certain percent of health, percent of health, you will do a different counter animation, you'll do more damage. So yeah, keep that in mind when you're at low health. And finally, you do get the NTD boost, and that is the same thing as the Unicorn and the Banshees, where people within a certain range of you, they will have, if they have a Psychomu weapon, that will get jacked. They won't be able to use it for a certain amount of time, and you do get certain boosts to your stats, or some stuff will lower, like the melee on this. I mentioned that earlier, and you do get some new skills and some updates to your skills, some higher levels of your skills, right? So when you do activate NTD mode, instead of having Evasion level 2, you get Evasion level 3. Instead of Flight Control level 2, you get Flight Control level 3. Instead of Force Injectors level 2, you get Force Injectors level 3. Instead of Leg Buffer, you get Leg Buffer level 2. And instead of the Psychomu Weapon Buffer level 4, you get level 5, which is 40% less damage getting hit where the funnels are on your back. So, again, the back is more safe than the front. You do get Optimized Cooling level 2, And you do get the Awakened Phenex boost and the Psycho Frame attack. And let me go ahead and pull up exactly what those do real fast for you guys, just so I can make sure I get this right. Alright, Awaken. Please. There we go. Awaken Phenex ability boost. It says activate with the touchpad. The NTD ability boost has been active for a set period of time. So when you do activate NTD mode, you will get a, kind of like with the Unicorn and the Banshee, actually more so with the Unicorn, actually, since it actually has Awaken mode, you'll get 45 seconds to wait out your NTD mode. Your NTD mode will drain you of health, I think 10 per second, right? And when that does go away, you can press the touchpad again, and you will recover 2,000 health, and it will fully recover your leg health and your head health. And not only that, I believe it recovers the health of your teammates around you as well. It recovers 2,000 health to your teammates, and recovers their leg health and their head health as well, which is really good as a supporting tool. That can, even though it's only 2,000 health, that's still potential to keep somebody alive, right? That's still pretty damn good. And of course, this while it's active, it reduces your attack, but it nullifies Saikamu equip jamming, so I don't think you get jammed, is what they're saying. And it reduces damage done to you by 15%. And of course, if you already have 40% less damage on your armed armor, and you add another 15 to that, yeah, that's a lot of damage reduction there. And of course, you know, the rest of your body will take less than they'll take 15% less damage. So still, that's pretty nice in tanking stuff, right? Yeah, that's pretty good. Again, like I said, pretty good as a support tool. You can heal your friends, which is nice. Pretty damn good. And finally, you have a new skill called the Psycho Frame attack. And what that does is when you're transformed, when you have NTD mode and you start boosting, after a while you do you'll start going faster. You'll get, I believe, let me read this again. After a set period, if you're using high speed movement, so if you're boosting, your high speed movement will increase by 10, so it'll go from 230 to 240, and while you're in that position, you will receive reduced stun accumulation damage, or reduced reaction while doing that, my bad. And you can stagger and damage somebody when you ram them. So basically you have a ram attack like transformation suits, except you're just doing it normally as a suit. So you'll do, I believe, the hard damage you'll do, I think, almost every time, right? I think it's just always 2,000, right? So yeah, you can ram somebody for 2,000 damage, and it does this sick-ass animation where if you stop boosting, you'll do like a cool flip. It looks really cool. But, yeah, that way, you can do some really dirty things with the Psycho Frame attack. You can boost towards somebody with your melee out, or, you know, even better, you can, let's just say right now, you're boosting towards somebody with your melee out, they get rammed, you can immediately stop and start doing your melee on them. That means immediate downswing, or just immediate melee combo. Now, if you want to go further with this, as we mentioned before, you can do your armed armor as a, you know, you're boosting towards them, you use the armed armor and your funnels, your Vulcans, my bad, your Vulcans to get a stun. Then you ram them for more damage, and then you go into the melee to get even more damage on somebody. And if you want to add that even further, you can approach them with the Beam Magnum and then start doing all that stuff. So yeah, that is the Psycho Frame attack is really good. And honestly, I almost expected this thing to get the Jesta Shazar Team A ability where it can fly. Thankfully not, but yeah. So that will lead directly into the pros and cons, and starting off with, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the cons. This thing does have low melee resistance initially, so if you're in a close range map against, you know, really terrifying raids and, you know, NTD unicorns, you're going to have to be really careful how you approach, because if they melee you, you're going to take a lot of damage. Now, that does mean you get NTD more quicker, right? But there's also potential you can just die from one combo, depending on how many people are attacking you, so... Be very, very careful how you approach people with this. You are I guess this goes in the cons as well. You are a bigger unit as well because of those funnels on your back, the armed armor. Yeah, those can get hit. You will take reduced damage, but you know you're still gonna get hit. And that can lead to opportunities where you get meleeed. So be careful with that. I almost want to say this is a con, but I guess I should mention it anyway. But when you do activate NTD mode, your melee strength does go down. So when you... Although, the reason I would say I almost don't want to count it is it looked like I was still doing really good melee damage, even with that 15 melee strength, I believe during the Supply Depot match. So... You do have reduced melee damage, but you do get 2 melee weapons, and they do a lot of damage. So be careful, I guess. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know, another kind of con is that when you do activate NTD mode, you do lose health over time, as you mentioned, at least 10 per second. Actually, I think it might be less than a second. Rapidly lose health. So be careful, especially if you're at a low amount of health. You don't want to you don't want to be walking around with 1 health. That will yeah, especially at 700, you're just gonna get killed, just flat out. Be very careful. All right, now we're actually another con I probably should say is that not really much of a con. It's just one of the weaker weapons is the regular mode. Mega cannons, they do not stun instantly. That is you have to stand still to fire those. And they don't get, depending on how it hits, it's not going to net you a lot of damage either. So just be careful how you're approaching somebody using those. I like to use them when the person I'm fighting is fighting somebody else, or you know their back is turned to me. So be careful how you use the shoulder cannons around people, or the mega cannons around people. That goes out the window when you're in TD mode. Which, yeah, speaking of pros, in TD mode, you gain a lot of weapons out of it. Your skills will get extra levels, or you gain new abilities. The Psycho Attack is a really great skill that opens up really easy melee combos, to say the least. You can literally just walk up to somebody, ram them, and then just start meleeing them. You do get a double dodge roll initially as well with the suit, and then you do get evasion level 3 when you activate NTD mode. You take less damage. You get 40% less damage if you get fired at where your armed armors are. Yeah, NTD mode is just really good. And then if you add in your awakening mode, if you wait out the 45 seconds when you activate NTD, you can heal your teammates. This is the only suit in the game that can heal its teammates. Now, if you play other Gundam games, that's a lie, because the methods can do that. but no, this suit can heal you. It's only 2,000 health. But still, that can still be helpful in ace match, where if you have an ace that's about to die, hey, here's 2,000 more health. Oh, are your legs and head almost broken? I should say more legs. That's something you gotta worry about more. Oh, are your legs almost broken? Okay, well, let's heal them real fast. Or hey, if you're in mix-up mode, and there's a Delta Gundam, right, at 650 or 600, and he's almost about to reach the range where his beam resistance goes away, and he'll have 0. Well, hey, here's some more health so that'll last longer. Yeah, like the healing, that's still really good just to heal people like that and heal their leg health. That's really that's fantastic even. That's really good for ace match. That's really good just for team battles. Just helping your team persevere. Persevere. Yeah, I said that right. Yeah, NTD mode and Awakening mode, really, really damn good. The weapons on this suit are also really damn good. Um, the Mega Cannon on the regular version of the Phenex is probably the weakest one out of the bunch, but still, all of its weapons are just fantastic to use with each other. This suit can get a lot. This suit is very flexible. Very, very flexible. You have a lot of potential in offense and defense. You can play mid-range, like supporting general, and it's not going to do as well for frontlining because of its size, but it's still it can initiate a push. I know that for sure. This thing can lead a charge, or it can help from behind line, like mid lines, I guess, right? Yeah, this suit is very good. Do I recommend rolling this? Absolutely. If you want a 4-star unit, this is the one to get. Just keep in mind of your low melee resistance, which can be avoided if you're going for a tanky build. But yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe if you want. I'd really appreciate it. And, you know, type up in the comment section how you feel about the Phenex NT. Do you like it? Do you hate it? I'm not a fan of the unicorn units. I don't care for the designs. The Phenex is really fun to play, and at the same time, though, what are they going to do for 700? Because depending on how the unicorn's going to go over with everybody because of its second nerf, the Unicorn and the Banshee still might be very common suits. The Phenex is definitely going to be a very common suit because of just how it behaves in a match. I don't know what they're going to do 700. I'm not sure if I want to continue playing 700. Like, it's just not something I want to just play still, right? It might be something I just kind of want to avoid, just wait until more suits get added, right? It's gonna get very, very stale. They did buff the XS level 2, the Gundam XS, yeah, the Gundam XS or XS Gundam. That one got buffed a little bit, and I know Unicorn got nerfed. We'll have to see what's gonna happen in the next week to see how exactly Unicorn will behave after the nerf, or if, you know, it just got replaced by the Phenex. And if it does get replaced by the Phenex, maybe there will be a chance for 700 to be kind of better, since obviously the Phenex has, as I mentioned, lower melee resistance. Maybe that'll give rise to some more viable raids, maybe, or some, you know, or maybe it'll just come back around to, hey, that means I can pick Unicorn, you know. I don't know. It's something that I have to figure out with. But yeah, that's going to be it. I will see you guys later. Bye.